We're following breaking news, the death of former Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld.
He grew up here in the Chicago area. WGN's Mike Lowe is taking a look back live from the Loop. Hi, Mike.
Lourdes and Ray, good evening to both of you. Donald Rumsfeld held some of the highest positions over a lengthy career in the entire U.S. government. But perhaps he is best remembered as the architect of the wars in both Iraq and Afghanistan. Wars that drew thousands of protesters right here to Daley Plaza.
It's a great city.
Donald Rumsfeld spoke with WGN about a decade ago as he looked out on his old neighborhood, Lincoln Park.
Oh my goodness, yeah, I was born here, grew up here, went to New Trier, went to Skokie School in Winnetka.
He grew up in Winnetka and graduated from New Trier High School in 1950, where he was the captain of the wrestling team. It prepared him for the contact sport of politics, which he entered after graduating from Princeton and then serving in the Navy as a fighter pilot. By the age of 30, he was elected as a congressman from Illinois. After 4 terms in office, he left to become an advisor to President Nixon. When Nixon resigned, he led the transition to the Gerald Ford administration, where he served as chief of staff, and then in 1975, at just 43 years old, he was tapped to become the youngest ever Secretary of Defense. Nearly a quarter century later, the combative and colorful Washington insider would have a second act.
He had a kind of bully's attitude towards both his interpersonal affairs and his view of the world, and that sets the tone for everything else.
A close ally of then Vice President Dick Cheney, he, at age 74, became the oldest ever Secretary of Defense. He was in the Pentagon during the attack on September 11th.
Feeling the Pentagon shake when an airplane filled with innocent people crashed into the building.
Secretary Rumsfeld's first instinct was to run toward danger.
I did. And I went back in the office and began the process of sorting through what would happen next.
What happened next was the war on terror and the 2 controversial conflicts in Afghanistan and Iraq. Rumsfeld spoke at New Trier on that trip home years ago, and when students there asked him about torture at the prison in Guantanamo Bay, he denied that it happened.
What do you tell a kid who asks about Guantanamo Bay or rendition or waterboarding or...
Oh, the truth. It's easy. Guantanamo is probably one of the best prisons in the world. It's very well run. No one was waterboarded.
But Professor Ian Hurd of Northwestern University says torture will forever stain Rumsfeld's legacy.
That it was he who personally authorized torturing people by signing the memos that essentially declared that torture was now lawful for the U.S. military. That's a big burden for one person to carry. I think it sticks to his legacy very closely. He was the defendant in the Supreme Court case, Hamdan versus Rumsfeld.
And Rumsfeld died today in New Mexico at the age of 88. The cause was multiple myeloma, a cancer that attacks blood plasma. Today, former President George W. Bush issued a statement calling Rumsfeld a dedicated public servant who, quote, never flinched from responsibility. Reporting live this evening in Daley Plaza, Mike Lowe, WGN News.
Thanks for that look back, Mike.